Hello, Hane. How are you? I hope you are, you're in high spirits, and hello to our audience as well. And we thought of, coming up with some topic, and we decided to have a go at communication skills. And this is what we do for a living. Like, you are a mediation expert, and I'm a teacher. So, this is what our, you would be engaging ourselves every day to, how to, communicate, and that's what we are here to uh, share some of our thoughts and some of what we have been reading on communication. So Hana, just starting from you, what do you feel that in a good communicator, what is the most important thing for to be a good communicator?
So hello, Jassim. Good to see you. And to start right away, I think the most important thing that we forget when we are communicating is pausing our own minds and really listening to the other person.
Exactly, exactly. So what you're saying is that it's very important to pause. That when you pause, it gives time to you to come up with an idea, and secondly, it would give time to your audience to process what you have said. So they're going to process or understand what you're saying, and secondly, it is going to give you time to breathe as well.
Yes.
What do you feel about this, Anis? That time giving your keeping the oxygen inside your rib cage, it's very important that your rib cage should be filled with oxygen. Like, there are few things which we don't really pay heed to, but they are, I think, more important than our words. It is how we are going to say, how we convey a message, and how we use our body language. How bring forth the power of our body language.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm using you can see the movement of my hands. You can see how the posture should be straight as well. And then what pause would be doing is that it would bring in oxygen. So, like, I can't bring in oxygen. I can't inhale oxygen if I'm speaking. So if I
Right.
pause, I take deep breath, and there's oxygen inside. And secondly, there is a stress related hormone, which is called as cortisol. It gives a lot of negative energy. It causes stress. And sometimes you feel nervous, jittery, while giving a communication, while presenting something. It is because you're speaking in a hurry. So just slow it down. What do you say on this? Just slow down the things, slow down the pace of conversation.
Yes. So there's a couple of things. When we are nervous, we are feeling closed. We're like feeling closed up. We're feeling not secure. So I think the first thing is noticing that we have those, like some sort of like anxious feelings. We all know how that feels with um, when your heart rate goes up, when you feel like your jaws can be like clenching, or your fist can be clenching, or you feel tight in your body. So those
Exactly.
things. So this is really cool because I have an example. It's not really a communication thing, it really is a breathing thing. I
Breathing
was
thing.
on the
Exactly.
road. Yeah, so I was on the road maybe a couple weeks ago, and it was icy and slippery, and it was nighttime, and I started feeling really, like anxious. And so I did a breathing technique, which was like when you breathe in 2 times fast and distinct, and then you just breathe out, you're gonna calm yourself. So I'm gonna do it. So it's like, and then you breathe out. And so when you do that,
Yeah.
you are calming yourself
Yeah.
down,
Exactly.
and you
Yeah.
are ready to, more in a rational way, do what you were going to do. So if this is a presentation and you are nervous and you're about to start, because usually we get like extra nervous right before the start of things, right? And so what we can do is do that little breathing of and breathe out. And we can
Exactly.
also do this, let's say you and I are in a conflict and we don't see eye to eye, we don't understand each other, we're coming from different perspectives, and we just have a hard time with each other, and this has been going on for a while, and now we decide to, bring up this issue, right? So I'm sitting here with you, and I'm like, hey, Jassim, I noticed like things haven't been going great, and I feel like it's time for us to talk about it. How do you feel? And you're saying, yeah, that's let's do this. So I bring up that, I haven't been happy with how things were going lately. This can be like coworkers or boss and employee. It can be couples. It can be married couples. So it can be anybody. But you feel yourself getting upset because what I'm saying is not what you want to hear. So now, in order for you to take in what I am saying is really like when you say like, yes, pause yourself, but know how to do it. So instead of having all those racing thoughts like, no, you're wrong, what you're saying is ridiculous, like you don't understand, like I guess you just don't understand any of it, right?
Exactly.
In order to take in my message, you have to be sort of like rational with your rational mind of two people just having a conversation, trying to work it out. And as soon as you feel yourself getting like really heated, you can like breathe.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking while you were speaking, Hane, that one of the major flaws in our communication is that we are in a rush to speak, and we don't pay heed to what other person is saying. So like we were discussing before, this listening skill is one of the most important communication skills you can ever acquire. That if you listen properly, and if you listen actively to the other person, and then you can imbibe what the other person is saying, and then maybe you can, if you can reply, that would be more, the response would be more, I think it would be more convincing, and it would be more logical, and it would be more aligned with your values, and more aligned with what you feel. Like if there's a mismatch between what we are saying and our body language, the message won't be communicated in its essence. But if you're saying something which we really believe in, which to which our body language is also, it is supporting that message, the impact would be great. What do you say about that, Hane? That we should be aligned with our values, and we should be true. We should be speaking our mind, what we feel, and our body language should be aligned with that as well, with those values.
Yes. So I'm all for alignment, definitely. When I see that you are getting really excited, I am noticing that you're moving around.
Yeah, exactly, because your vibe, it attracts your tribe, so you're going to vibrate on the same frequency in which I'm vibrating. So if my energy starts dissipating, it would have that ripple effect on you as well, and you'll feel that low energy as well. So I have to ensure that I stay at the peak state, so that we can both have a very engaging communication. And for that, it is for that one thing which is very important, Hane, which I feel is your listening skills, that you comprehend the other person fully, and you shouldn't be in a rush just to reply. And that is one thing. And the second thing which you mentioned is about your your body posture, and your breathing. You should be breathing enough oxygen inside. Either you can do it from mindfulness, or you can acquire it through some meditation, or you can even drink water while you're speaking. So there's this when you speak, you don't have that feeling of anxiety or nervousness. So what do you have to say on that, Han?
So yes, I think we have to be clear about what we want to say, our message itself, the content of the conversation. And we have to make sure that we ourselves are ready to have that conversation. So we are making sure that we have a level of calmness, and when we are and like rationality. And then when we notice we are drifting off because we get really passionate about the subject,
Oh yes.
we don't we start not like trusting or understanding or respecting the
Very,
other.
very good point.
We have to go back to that original state of I am here to, you know, close gaps. I am here to understand. I am here to learn.
Exactly.
I'm here to build on our relationship.
Exactly, Hane. So, there are two things which, which I've understood by what you're saying, that one, we should not be overwhelming our audience with, we shouldn't overwhelm them with detail. We shouldn't bombard them with too much information. So, what the rule of psychology is that we should be speaking in points of three. So, 3 points at a time.
Oh yeah.
If we try to give too much of an information, that is again going to, be, it won't be very productive as far as the impact of our communication is concerned. And
Yeah.
secondly, Hannah, it's very important that we shouldn't underestimate the power of pause. So when we pause, the ideas, they come to us, and then we deliver those ideas in a natural style. So we are not making an effort. If the best conversation is what you see kids doing. It's so effortless. I was reading in a book that we should be speaking like kids. If you see the body language of a child, and they're so calm, and they're so much at peace with themselves, and they're so sure about themselves, whatever they're saying. So it creates that impact. What do you say on that?
Well, so kids are natural problem solvers too.
Exactly.
It's a little bit different, they don't need all that space that we need. They literally sit on top of each other and they're still okay. So they don't, so they, they're just a little bit different. But I think with adults, I think also children are very in tune with how they're feeling themselves, and they don't necessarily care about others, and what adults do, skills, what we have more is, I can see when you are drifting off, when you are not paying attention, when you are not able to listen because there's so much on your mind and you really want to speak. When I can also see when I can also notice when I am starting to get tired and I'm not taking it out on you. I am just aware of,
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, I'm sort of done with this conversation, do you feel like we could continue this another time? And that's not being rude. That's just really stepping out of the content and saying something is missing. I don't feel that energy. Something is too much. I feel too much of, you're passionate. Being passionate is great. But when you are going overboard and I can just take in your loudness, I can step out of the conversation and I can tell you it's really hard for me to listen to your message when you are being so, speaking so loudly. I can see that you're very passionate about it, but can we find a way that I can take in your message a little bit better? And so I am not talking about, the content. I am not talking about our problem. I'm not talking about our conflict, but I need to make sure that I'm able to take in. And if I can't, because you are going off and you're not stopping, and I notice within myself, I'm getting, frustrated, annoyed, or just tired, then I'm able to step out of the content and tell you hey, it's hard for me to listen, is there a way that we can improve that?
Yes, what you're saying, Hane. I was, a while ago, I was reading about the 5 P's of communication, and in those 5 P's, there are 2 P's. One is pitch, and the other is pace. So your pitch and pace should be, according to what you're trying to, what impact you're trying to create. So if you're trying to, if you want to have a motivated style, just to engage your audience, you need to, then you have to keep your pitch and pace high. But if you want to tell them something serious, like what you did right now, you have to slow down the pace. You have
Yes.
to you have to slow down your pitch. So and same is the case with passion. So passion has to be consistent. It should be consistent. It should be consistent. But then, so if someone is asking you a question,
Uh-huh.
then you have to come from a motivator mode to a
Yeah.
facilitator mode. Then you
Mhm.
have to listen to what other person is saying, maybe rephrase the question, maybe ask the question to the person who has asked the question. So there are different modes in a communication, and the five P's: pitch, pace, passion, and then your projection as well. So if like right now only I and you, we are having a conversation, there is an audience, we don't have a live audience right now, so I don't have to project my arms,
Mhm.
but once I'm in a class, or if you're giving lecture in a theater, then you have to project with your arms. So we need to learn this science and know the science of communication. But one thing which I would like to you to shed some light on is that while we are communicating, we should be sure about three things: that what we are trying to communicate, what we want other
Okay.
person to know; secondly, what we want other person to behave; and the third is what we want other person to
Okay.
feel. So what you have to say on these things, like these three ingredients of a good communicator? What I want you to know, like what for this, like we are together and we are having a discussion on communication
Mhm.
skills. What we want our audience to know, what we want our audience to feel or behave, and what we want our audience to do. So what do you what do you have to say on this, Hane?
So
I'm asking you tough
my
questions.
what's that?
I hope I'm not asking you tough questions here.
No, you're fine. So this is really about like how to present yourself. And for me, it comes back to being authentic.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you need to know where you are. Yes, you need to know if you're in a theater or, in front of a camera. Yes, you need to know, how, sort of like you have students between like 18 and 22-year-olds. I have to know, sort of who is listening to me, and yes, like I need to be aware of how do I want them to feel, how, what do I want them to take in, and is there a change, that I want from them. But also I just want to be authentic. I just want to be honest about what I have to say. And if you are not able to take it in, we can talk about it. Depending on our relationship, do I need you to know stuff? Or am I just here for you to, take it in or not? You're my student and you can sort of like take it or leave it or take it in the way you want to. But if you are my spouse, if you are my close coworker, if you are my child, there's like so there's like different relationships, and there's like different ways I can communicate what I need to do. And the most important thing for me when I do it is I can be myself no matter what, but also I have to understand how you can listen to me. So when you're in a theater, yes, use your arms, use your gestures, use
Oh
all
yeah.
of that.
Exactly.
Because I really want you to hear what I have to say. But also, like, are you inclined to listen to jokes? Do you like really light
Exactly.
conversations, or do you really want to go deep? And in what state of mind are you? Are you able to, if you're tired, you're not taking anything in. You just
Yes.
want to, watch Netflix and go to bed. But if this is in the morning, you've eaten something, you've drank something, like what we talked about, then you're able to take in more like stronger or deeper messages, and you're able to think about it better. So I think all those things play into the effectiveness of your communication,
Mhm.
and like knowing who you are and what you want and how you're able to take it in.
Hani, whatever you're saying, I can relate it to it so well. Like for instance, when you see a clown presenting,
Mhm.
acting, doing his act
Mhm.
in the theater. So whenever a clown has to say something important, serious, he's going to fold his hand or he's going to stand still.
Mhm.
But when he's trying when he's trying to be funny or loud, he would be projecting himself. So this is true for a normal presentation as well. So when we have to say something of value, which is something serious, then you have to slow it down. You have to stand still, and then you say it. So it creates that impact. And the first thing which you said, Hani, is about authenticity. That you should be your authentic, true self. And while you were saying it, I was thinking that it's so important to listen to other person attentively, because mostly in our communication we don't listen properly to what other person is saying, and we are only bothered about
Yes.
our 2 cents. So that creates lot of misunderstanding, and we don't even learn anything, anything worthwhile from a listener. So like what Socrates said, that if you really pay heed, you have one thing to learn from everyone. Like for instance, in our communication, I've made so much mental notes. I've made so many mental notes about things which you have been you saying, like be your
Yeah.
authentic self, have good listening skills, and
Yeah.
and and have a good storyteller narrative as well. So you should be able to tell some relevant stories. Either they are your stories, or they're stories related to some other
Mhm.
people, some famous people, or there are some organizational stories. What you have to say on this, that a good communicator is a good storyteller as well. Like when I why your talk is quite inspiring. Why? Because you relate it with practical examples. You've got a very good sense of observation.
Yes.
Yes, Anna.
So yeah, so I totally agree with when I say something, it has to somehow relate, somehow relate to how you're feeling or what you have experienced or what you hope to experience. So yes, it has to relate at some point. And you know why I like this? Because we are not in the same
Exactly.
country. We are 10 hours, 10-hour difference from each other. We are
Exactly.
male, female. We are, we don't look alike. And so what I like about it is that we don't need to have all those similarities to be able to take in each other's message.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And we should be smiling often
Oh
in a
yeah.
communication. So it's contagious. Sometimes you might be feeling nervous or jittery or tense, but if your body gives signals to your mind, and you even give a fake smile, it creates that impact, on the mind, that you're happy, and then it soothes you down. So what I'm trying to say is that your body is a great power, and we underestimate the power of our body language. It's non-verbal communication. It has a greater impact than what our content is. So mostly while communicating, people are they're bothered about their content. The content counts for 38%. I was reading the
Okay.
stats, for a good communicator, around 155 to 60%, what counts is your
Okay.
non-verbal communication. 7 to
Okay.
8% is your
Okay.
dress, how your credibility, and how
Mhm.
confident you are. But the main area of where we can work is a non-verbal communication skills. And for that, having your good, the body in place, nudge, give yourself a nudge from your body. So while when you're going from your peak state
Mhm.
to your let's say you're going on a weak turf, so your energy is
Mhm.
dissipating. That is the time when you push your body, you give nudge to your mind from your body, so you are more inclined to be positive, to be passionate, and it gives you energy. And it happens because you see this, the normal attention span is just 18 minutes. So that is important too.
So we
You
have to
should
wrap
be
it up.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Can I say
exactly.
one more thing about how you started? Is at some point in when I just moved to the US, I was an ESL teacher, which is an English as a second language, which was crazy because I didn't even know the language that well, but I know it better than even newer immigrants. So I was sitting in a classroom with maybe like 10 or 12 people, but they're from all over the world, right? From like South America, Africa, Middle East, Asia, it didn't matter. And I was working with a girl from the Middle East, very, very nice girl. And so we were not able to to talk easily with each other because everybody is from all over the world. Everybody has all these accents. So we kept it really simple, but we had such a good time. Like every week, we had such a good time together because everybody was there because they wanted to learn. So that was one thing. Everybody was there because they really wanted to take everything in what we had to teach them. And secondly, everybody was always smiling. It was just like when you don't know what to say, when you don't have the words, you can always smile, you know? And so that was, it was such a good experience. I did it for a while, maybe like a year and a half or like 2 years. And you don't need to know each other's language to really just understand a little bit about each other. At least that you have good intentions, you know, you can always show that.
So like, you know, we can sum up all, you know, this wonderful discussion. We are having a great discussion on communication skills. That first thing is that you should control your breathing.
Yes.
We started from having a control over your breathing. So you're in totally you're at peace, you're relaxed, you're calm. So once you're calm, you know, you tend to create more impact. Once you are aligned with your values, you're true to yourself. One thing. The second thing is having a nice, good, relaxed body posture. And the third thing is it can be your facial expressions and smiling often.
Yes. When you mean it.
When you mean it, exactly. Yeah.
So yes, and I'm gonna add to the things that you said, being authentic. You know, you can be nervous and that's okay. Being authentic and paying attention to whether the other person is able to take in what you have to say. And if they don't step out of it, if they don't step out of it, they don't step out of it, because then when let's say I'm not paying attention to how you feel and I'm just gonna go and I'm just not gonna stop and I'm just gonna, you know, whatever I need to tell you, well, you did not take it in. So not only are you frustrated, but I'm frustrated too, because I'm like, why aren't you doing what I told you to do? Why aren't you changing what I asked you to change? You know, so it just, you know, is crucial.
So I shouldn't be interrupting you right now. I think we had a wonderful discussion, and it, you know, I learned a lot, and I hope our audience, you know, they had something to learn, and they can ask us any questions if there's some questions in their mind. You know, we might be able to answer them, and you know, even learn from them. You know, if I've got something you know, to say on communication skills, that, you know, what are the, you know, main ingredients of a good communicator? What are the, you know, qualities of a good communicator?
So about the audience, do you want to tell them what we had in mind about going forward?
Yeah, exactly. Like we plan to go live every Friday this time, and we will be coming up with different topics. So they can suggest us, you know, those topics. We can, you know, come up with, and we can have a, you know, a discussion around those topics. Like, you know, The Untethered Soul is the book that we both read recently. So why not we get, you know, we do a live stream next week on the Untethered Soul, you know, about the consciousness. We were discussing about being at the center of your consciousness and how you can control your thoughts and emotions. So this might be a topic of our, you know, discussion next week.
That's great. And I remember that you said something about your students having a hard time speaking up. You know, like they either get like real nervous and get real shy and don't say anything, or they go overboard and they, you know, start rambling and not stopping and not paying attention to whatever happened. So I think that's a good one too.
Exactly. Yeah. So we can like, you know, you want us to be focused more on the hindrances and the obstacles they're facing in their communications. you know. So yes, we can definitely.
Okay.
So, but we had a wonderful session, and it was really great. So if you can add something, Hani, and then I think we should be,
Okay. I'm gonna see how I can stop this live video because this is a new thing. I think I have a stop button here, so I think I'm gonna say goodbye, and I will see you next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thank you.